Hey everybody, Nick here. I know it's been a while since I made one of these videos. Well, it's just been a while since I've made any video. But I want to talk about Kibble today. Random topic. I thought I'd, so I write down video ideas in my notes on my phone. And this was one of the video ideas, was talking about how Kibble is terrible for your pets. And so, let's get started. First of all, there's I want to give people, um, I guess, the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if that really is a good phrase for this situation, but like what I mean, there's obviously a reason why people buy kibble, right? It's because it's cheap, it's easy to buy, it's shelf stable. You can keep it in the bag and it doesn't go bad for a long time, I mean, because it's dry. Dry food doesn't go bad as quick as wet food. But the problem with cheap things is they're usually, sometimes this is not the case, but usually they're not as good as a more expensive thing. For example, I could buy a pair of sunglasses off Timu, that app that's like Amazon. I recommend not using that app. I've This is actually a real life example. I bought some sunglasses off Timu. Apparently, they were supposed to be polarized, or there's something special about them. No, no, they were. I don't even use them anymore. So that was a waste of money, but they were cheap. And so it wasn't a waste of much money. However, if I had bought, more expensive pair of polarized sunglasses, um, maybe I'd be using them more, I mean, I've got a pair of polarized sunglasses in my car that my dad gave me, and I use those just about every time I'm in the car and it's sunny, because I don't like being blinded by the light. And so, anyways, that's just one example of how cheap things are usually lesser quality. But anyway, back to the kibble topic. It's less quality, right? It's lower in quality. And I want to also talk about some of the macronutrient profiles of these kibbles, or kibble foods. So here's the thing. The definition of an omnivore, as I've got here well, it's backwards. Or at least it's backwards to me, but it'll probably flip once I post this video. The definition of an omnivore is an animal or person that eats food of both plant and animal origin. Here's the thing. With that definition, every animal or person in existence is an omnivore, bar none. Every herbivore, because guess what? There's cases where herbivores eat meat. So that means every herbivore has the potential to be an omnivore. Therefore, it is an omnivore. That's why I don't really like this definition. It's the same with a carnivore. A cat, well, I'm about to talk about this, but cats are fed crap food. Sorry, I should probably tone down my language. They're fed bad food, aka kibble, which is plant based, basically. I mean, the first ingredient on most of these things is corn. I mean, it's outrageous. Cats aren't meant to eat corn. They're meant to eat meat. I mean, I'm just looking up cat kibble ingredients here. Let's look at Purina, okay? We got Purina, quote unquote, natural cat food. Okay. Purina 1. Let's take a look at this, huh? Real chicken is #1 ingredient. Okay, so they say that, but let's take a look at what the second ingredient is. Well, first of all, how do I find the ingredients? Nutrition, okay. Oh, what do you know? Corn gluten meal. Gluten is I believe it's a protein. Correct me if I'm wrong. Gluten is actually very bad for pretty much every um well, again, I could be wrong about this, but just from my experience, I mean, why do people have a gluten allergy? Some people. I don't see anyone with a red meat allergy except for, people who get alpha gal syndrome, but that's first of all, that's rare. Second of all, you got to get bit by a tick for that to happen. So it's not even a natural thing. It's whenever you get, and again, there could be other ways. I don't know. I just know that one of the ways to get alpha gal syndrome is to be bit by a tick. And then you get like the tick saliva in your blood, and that, I don't know, it has something to do with alpha gal, which is, I don't even remember what, but I'm getting off topic. Basically, I can't even really remember what I was. Okay, omnivore. An animal person that eats food of both plant and animal origin. Okay, so I can eat junk and I might survive, but does that mean I will thrive? Not necessarily. Like if I mean, I could probably just live off cakes and crepes and pastries and pies. Does that mean I should? No. And so there's there's just so many nuances to these things. I mean, I could probably live off corn for how long though? I don't know if I could do that for over a year because what does corn not have in it that I need? Well, I mean, let's just take a look at one example, vitamin B12, which is, according to my knowledge, only found in um, meat. Now, I think it's also found in like shiitake mushrooms, but again, like how many mushrooms can you just go out into the wild and pick and say, "Oh, here's a mushroom, must be good to eat." No. No, there's a lot more species of mushrooms than you might think. There's like at least upwards of 1,000, if I'm not mistaken. But there's only like five that you can eat that have been found that you can eat without, one, instantly dying, two, getting extremely high out of your mind. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm good without all that psychoactive chemical nonsense. I'd rather not be high out of my mind. And so, you know, there's a reason why there's a reason why most plants you can't eat without instantly dying or getting very sick. That's because plants need to protect themselves just like animals do. Um, Whereas we have fingernails, and again, they're not as claw-like on humans. Well, first of all, that's because we trim our fingernails. Uh, Cats and dogs don't because they don't have trimmers. But I mean, if I let my fingernails grow a little longer, they'd probably hurt a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And so, however, they're not exactly claw shaped. They're not pointy, unless I mean, I'll bet there's people who let them grow like that. Or I'll bet back before nail clippers were a thing, people probably shaved them off on rocks or something. Or maybe they just shaved off naturally because of scratching stuff. I mean, I don't know for sure, but that's just one of my theories. But again, we have teeth too. I mean, these teeth are kind of sharp. Humans are a little different than, I mean, say a saber cat, right? Where they have a giant tooth or they have giant fangs. That's because we learned to use tools, whereas the saber cat's teeth were its tools. Um, we evolved our brains, whereas, and there's that word evolved. Some people don't like that. I am Christian. However God made things to happen, that's how it happened. I don't really care about the past. Uh, when I'm talking about creationism and evolution, I mean, obviously we were created. There's no doubt about that. There's no way you can. Uh, I go off on tangents so easily. I'll have to make another video about that. But I don't know. Who cares, really? Does it really matter? As long as you build a relationship with God and you get baptized correctly, which is in the name of Jesus, and you get God's Spirit to dwell inside you by receiving the Holy Ghost. That's what that is. Which the initial evidence is speaking with other tongues, by the way. Probably said that on a couple of videos, but this is a video about Kibble, and here I am talking about random stuff. Oh man, I gotta. Anyway, I'll just have to make another video about that. But okay, Kibble, terrible. Wet food, better. That's the gist, okay? Took me 12 minutes to say that. Because kibble usually has plant material in it, and contrary to popular belief, plants are not good for carnivores. Which, so again, if I use the definition that Google has, everything's an omnivore. Everything. And so that's not a good definition, in my opinion. I'd say an omnivore is something that can utilize plants and meat to the same extent, aka they can turn plants into the exact same amino acids, exact same, building blocks as they can turn meat into. Well, guess what? Humans cannot. If I eat corn, you may notice that if you use the restroom after eating corn, you might see corn in your waste. So, well, first of all, that corn wasn't fully utilized. Second of all, the fact that you have waste means that something was wasted. Means that it, again, wasn't utilized. Now, on a carnivore diet, or, I mean, even just a low carb ketogenic diet, I mean, it depends, because if you have high fiber, fiber is useless for your bodies. No, it does not provide digestive help. All it does is increase bulk to your stool, which is an illusion. People think that, oh, I'm pooping more. That means I've got more regular bowel movements, which means I've got healthier bowels. No, that just means you have more waste to push out. Peristalsis, which is the rhythmic contractions of the gut to push out waste, is always happening. And so by adding more waste, all you're doing is adding more bulk to your stool, which is not good. I mean, contrary to popular belief, well, this is, I guess, I don't know if this is popular belief, but more waste is not good. I don't like how everything's packaged in plastic nowadays. I don't know about you guys, but every time I buy something packaged in plastic, I always end up throwing the plastic away. Because what use do I have with garbage? I don't have any use for garbage, so I throw it away. It's the exact same thing with our body and useless food. Now there is some benefit. We've got bugs in our, well, we barely have a cecum. We've got like an appendix, which is a vestigial cecum. It's about the size of your pinky. I mean, whereas in a horse, it's gallons. I can't even. It's gallons. Huge on a horse. The cecum is huge on a horse. On monkeys or some primates, like orangutans, I think, or orangutan. I don't know how you say that. Chimpanzees, gorillas. I don't really know for sure the specific species, but their cecums are huge. Surface area wise, right? On the inside, they've got so much surface area. Whereas, again, that is basically the extent of our well, that is not the extent, but it is the best part of our fiber digestion, aka our cellulose digestion. Okay, because that's where the bugs habitate. Now, here's the thing, they can also spill out into the um, large intestine, I think, um, which is my theory. My theory is that is why people have gas. That is why, well, okay. I don't, again, I'm just theorizing here. I don't have any sources for this, but I could probably find some if I took the time. I'm too lazy to do that. And so, uh, yeah, the bugs, aka the microbes, all the microorganisms that inhabit the gut, are able to digest these things that we cannot digest. Now, the problem with that is they can't digest everything because, one, there's not enough of them, and, well, I guess that's it, really. There's just not enough of them in us. Now, in a ruminant, where you've got a rumen, which is like, it's basically a cecum, except it's further near the start, or it's closer to the start of digestion, which means you can glean a whole lot more. Their rumen is not this big. Just like a horse, a rumen and a ruminant, which, by the way, a horse is not a ruminant. I'm just giving an example of cecum and a horse to ruminant and a rumen and a ruminant. Their rumen is like 50 gallons. Gallons and gallons of capacity. It's a huge, huge place for digestion. They are able to digest this stuff. Now, back to kibble. I'm getting so sidetracked. Cats and dogs are not ruminants, and they are not hindgut fermenters. Now, you might say, well, they have a cecum. Sure. Okay. Well, for the same reason that a tiger has a cecum, a dog does too. Again, the definition omnivore. What is in the stomach of a gazelle? Well, likely grass or whatever the gazelle eats. I don't know. I don't study gazelles, but whenever a lion or a dog eats a stomach, they eat the stomach contents, right? And so, okay, maybe they have some capacity to digest plants. But I can guarantee that if you feed a human or a cat or a dog only plants, they will not live a life to their best potential. Well, let's talk about the example in a human. Again, vitamin B12, vitamin K2, vitamin D3. You can get that from the sun, but I mean, there's carnitine. It's literally in the word carn. Itine. Carn means flesh, or it means body. I mean, these things that are essential for the human body. I haven't studied much about animals yet. That's why I'm trying to be a veterinarian. Or, I mean, I will be a veterinarian and I will learn a little bit about that. Well, hopefully, otherwise I wouldn't be a good veterinarian. But there's these things in meat that we as humans, and that cats and dogs as dogs need. You just can't thrive on for example, a vegan diet because it is deficient. You have to supplement. Any diet that you have to supplement, is that really a proper diet? No, not in my opinion. Um, Now, people might say, oh, well, you have to add butter to your lean meat. Isn't that supplementing? Well, considering that, I mean, okay, let's give an example. So, if I okay, let's just say I was a sailor out on sea, and I was, well, okay, this isn't really a good example, but I was eating salted meat, and here's the important part: bread in the form of hardtack or crackers, for example. Those carbohydrates, they compete with the vitamin C that is in the meat, because there is vitamin C in meat. And so these people got scurvy, and they had to, I guess, I mean, okay, fine, supplement the diet. They had to supplement the diet with citrus fruits like lime, orange, lemon, those sorts of things, because they're very high in vitamin C. But again, I don't know if I've said this before, so saying again doesn't really apply here, but not every nutrient in a plant is as bioavailable as meat or eggs. Apparently, eggs are the most bioavailable source of nutrients you can eat. And it makes sense because they're literally the building blocks of a being, like a living being. Okay, so if you're supplementing your diet, that is different, I feel, than supplementing your diet with supplements. Okay, so if you're okay, let me say that again. So if you're supplementing your diet, I guess, with food, then I don't really think that counts as supplements. Whereas if you're supplementing your diet with like pills, supplement capsules like I don't know, vitamin B12 supplements, vitamin D, vitamin C supplements, it's not natural. There's, as far as I know, there's no record of, at the very least, 2,000 years ago in biblical times, people taking supplement pills. I'm sorry. I don't know what you believe, but I've been I haven't read through the whole Bible yet, but as far as I can tell from what I've read, I've not read anything about Moses taking vitamin B12 or, Aaron injecting testosterone. That's another can of worms. Yeah, people didn't first of all, they didn't have those things. Second of all, they just didn't need to. And again, they did eat bread and stuff back then. But they also had the, the citrus probably to help with those deficiencies that they would have had if they just ate bread and meat. I'm saying that you can eat only steak and thrive off of only steak. I've done it. I'm trying to do it for extended periods of times, but so far, I don't know. I'm a sugar addict, and so I have trouble with staying away from the sugary sweets. But anyway, kibble's terrible. First of all, would you want to eat kibble? Because I sure wouldn't. I've tried it. Call me weird. I've tried it. It's not that good. And I don't know. I mean, it's just like cereal. That's a whole nother can of worms. Cereal is just terrible for you. It's basically just sugar. That's it. I mean, anyway, it's got to be fortified. That's another thing. They say fortified. No, it's just supplementing. You're just adding all these vitamins that the stuff doesn't have. One, I wouldn't eat it. Two, it's terrible for health. That's what diabetes comes from, is because the Randall cycle is being inhibited, or no, it's being activated. If you don't know what that is, I encourage you to look it up. It's really interesting uh, biochemical aspect of our metabolisms. I think if what I just said makes sense. I'll have to make another video on that, but there's plenty of videos about the Randall cycle on YouTube already. So one, I wouldn't eat it. Two, it's terrible for you. That's basically it. I mean, would you rather eat a steak or would you rather eat Cheerios? I don't know about you, but I'd rather eat a steak. So, anyway, I'll have to make some more videos. There's just so many thoughts running through my head. I keep getting sidetracked. This video was supposed to be about kibble and why it's bad, but I'll have to put on the title more. I'll put that and then some rambling because I don't want to mislead anyone. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you all, and yeah, sorry for not making videos in a while. I've had school and stuff. Just been busy with life. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.